Hello humans, it's just Martine and welcome to another Dollar Tree haul. Today is a very exciting Dollar Tree haul, so make sure you stick around until the end to see exactly how much I saved by purchasing these books at the Dollar Tree instead of at their full price. I have 6 books here to share with you. They're in no particular order. I have a variety of genres and stuff this time, so it's all over the place. Let's get to it. First, I have Zoom, Surprising Ways to Supercharge Your Career, and this is by Daniel Roberts. It was interesting for me to find a self-help book of some kind that actually fit with my interests or lifestyle and what I'd like to read about. A lot of the times they'll have nonfiction books there that I'm not particularly interested in. They have a lot of political memoirs or things about nutrition and diet, things that don't particularly interest me or fit in with my particular lifestyle. For some reason on this trip, I was weeding through so many copies of Anne Romney's book to find these particular books. So it was really intriguing to see a book that might actually interest me that was in more of that genre. One of the things that really drew me to pick up this book is that it includes exclusive insights from Fortune's 40 Under 40. So these people who have really had their careers take off younger in life. I'm not looking to have their same careers or anything. I don't study business or anything like that, but I do think the ways that some people find success are interesting to read about. When I'm flipping through to the table of contents, I still think that some things will be applicable to my life. There are things about resilience, bouncing back, things about considering how your actions as a leader will affect other people, and how to find your passion overall. So I think that's really cool. There are also some cool insights on the sides of some of the pages that I'm interested to have a look at. So overall, I was really pleased to find this book available at the Dollar Tree. This was published quite some time ago. It was published in 2013, which makes it the oldest book out of this entire stack that I have to share with you today. That's another reason that I don't often pick up nonfiction from them, is it tends to be older or less relevant for some reason. Who knows why? But this was originally sold for $26.95, so I was extremely pleased to get it for $1. Next, I have The Framingham Fiend by Gregory Harris, and this is part of an overall mystery series. It's the Colin Pendragon mystery series, but especially I find in mystery series, it's easy to pick up random books in the series and you don't have to read them chronologically or even all of them to enjoy the story inside. So I definitely thought that this was worth a shot. It's a nice floppy paperback, which I always appreciate. It just feels really good. And this is about a series of particularly Jack the Ripper-esque crimes, which are always really fascinating to read about in these types of mystery books. And it seems like the process of finding this murderer will bring the main character of this series around and around and around he goes, from opium dens to morgues. And it just seems like an interesting time and a beautiful purple cover. The copyright for this book is 2018, and this copy would originally be sold for $15.95. Next, I have quite a thin book, but it's Heather the Totality, and this is by Matthew Weiner. It clocks in at just over 100 pages, so I'm really glad when I can pick up books like this from the Dollar Tree, because I do love a good short book, but if they're super expensive, it just doesn't feel worth it for how much reading time I'm going to get out of it. This is also a debut novel, and it's by the creator of Mad Men for some reason. And this seems to be about a small family. It's just a mother and a father and then Heather. And the parents, their lives revolve entirely around Heather, and she seems to be a great person and radiant. And then a more sinister, darker pathline starts to take place, or there's somebody who enters her life. I don't know, it seems kind of chilling. Is about the upper classes, and I do love interesting books about the upper classes. And all the reviews in the back seem to find it particularly compelling, including Philip Pullman, who's the author of the His Dark Materials series, which I have read the first of but haven't completed yet. So I thought that this book seemed really intriguing. It was published in 2017 and originally cost $25 for something this small. $25. I'd rather pay the $1. Maybe it is that amazing to warrant $25 price point, but we'll see. Next, I have Long Players, a love story in 18 songs. And this is by Peter Cavello. Sorry, Peter. And an interesting note about this and finding all of my finds at the Dollar Tree is sometimes you'll find one and it will be really damaged. Sometimes they're a little damaged, like this next one that I'll have to show you has a little damage on it, but nothing too major. But when I picked up a copy of this, the whole back was bent and there was a line from having been creased so much, and that would have been totally fine. I was really intrigued by the book and I put it in my basket, totally willing to purchase it for $1 if it was that damaged. I was still excited to add it to my collection, but they usually have multiple copies of the same book. And so I kept a really sharp eye out to see if they had any other copies of this while I was looking, and they did. They had this copy, which is in perfect condition. So I decided to swap it, especially because like it either looks better on my collection if I keep it, or it's better to pass on to somebody else later on. So I was really pleased. That's just a little pro tip. If at first you see a book that's really intriguing, but it's not quite in the condition you want it to be, keep searching, it might be there. This seems to maybe be about the author himself. It's about the role that music plays in love in our lives. And so we follow him into like a marriage, a divorce, post-marital romance, dealing with stepdaughters and all these sorts of things. And it's just about what it's like to fall in love and to fall out of love with people, places, things, music, art, all of that. I just felt like the premise was really good. I was interested to see what this book had to say, particularly about music and art. I do love reading about those things. So this was published in 2018 and was originally sold for $16, but I got it for $1. All right, 2 more. Let's do it. Next, I have Your Heart is a Muscle the Size of a Fist by Sunil Yapa. And at first I was like, wow, this cover is really busy. This title is really weird, but I'll see what it's about. And it actually seems to be about a biracial main character whose mother has recently died, and he returns to his hometown only to find himself in the middle of this massive protest on which he is on one side and his white policeman of a dad is on the other. I think this has the potential to be a really, really important and intriguing and insightful novel, so I definitely decided to give it a go. It is written by a biracial author, and this is his debut book. Particularly after the events of last summer, I think it's really intriguing to have a story that looks at both sides of the question and tries to find a place for human empathy and understanding across broken lines. So I'm really interested to see what this book has to say about all of those issues, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be brilliantly done. This was published in 2016 and was originally sold for $15.99. Last but certainly not least, we have The Rule of Mirrors by Kara M. O'Brien. This caught my eye immediately. It's got this really weird texture on the cover. The tagline is "What happens when your body is not your own?" And I will say, so I hesitated for a while about whether or not I should pick this up. If you've not watched any of my other videos before, then you wouldn't know that sometimes I do pick up sequels and I read them without reading the first book, and it's totally fine. But I do try to avoid that when I can. Oftentimes I'll pick it up and look though I might, I don't realize that it's a sequel. This one very clearly says that it's book 2 of the Vault of Dreamers trilogy. So not only is it book 2, but it's book 2 and it's bookmarked. But 2 other books. I looked in my library and we don't have the first one. So it's like, I don't know if I should get this, even though like the cover seems intriguing, the back seemed interesting, but something that the back said made me consider that maybe this would be the perfect sequel to pick up, actually, because the main character of this has amnesia. She's just woken up from a 6-month coma and she cannot remember anything about her own life. Since it's written from first person, I'm assuming we'll be finding things out with her. Plus it was only $1, so if I find that it's not up to my standards or something, I can just move on and pretend it never happened. I think this is also told in dual perspective with one girl who does know what's going on, who's kept captive by a doctor who mines her dreams. I have no idea what that means, but I am intrigued. So like, I'm going to give it a go. I think there's a lot going on in this book, but it has the potential to be really cool. It's just over 400 pages. This was published in 2016 and originally sold for $10.99. Those are all the books that I got today. Now here is the moment of truth. I, of course, at the Dollar Tree, buying 6 books, spent a little over $6, so $6 plus tax. Their original worth, when you add up all the prices on the back or in the inside flap, is $110.88, which means that I saved approximately $104.88. This is not the first time I've saved over $100 on a Dollar Tree haul. This will not be the last time I save over $100 on a Dollar Tree haul. It is not the highest amount of savings I've had, but I am quite pleased with $100 and almost $5 worth of saving on these books. I think that's an absolute steal. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below which of these seems most interesting to you, and subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!